Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another papercraft video. So today I am going to be making some 3D projects with some little tags and things that we're going to make. We're going to use the Tag of Thanks and the Textured Floral stamp sets to decorate those up, and we're also going to be using the some of the In Colour Designer Series paper. Okay, so these are the ones that are going to be staying when it comes to May. We've got 5 that are retiring, which will be sad to see. We've got some nice new colours coming in, but these are the ones that are going to hang about for another year. Okay, so as you can see, I've made 2 styles of sort of gift bags boxes. Okay, so we've got peach pie and pretty in pink there, with the modern oval serving as a tag on there. Okay, and then I've got this one, which is Shy Shamrock, which is kind of a pizza style box. So it's tied shut at the moment, but it opens up into a box, so that they're a nice size. So you could fit some treats and little bits and bobs in there. But the idea was to use up a sheet of Designer Series paper, and with the same scoring you can make both of these projects. Okay, so it's a bit of a twofer. Okay, so depending on how you cut it, you can either make this style box or this style kind of gift bag. Okay, and then for this one I switched out the punch and did a circle rather than the modern oval, just because it fitted onto the front a little better. Okay, so here's our 6x6 Designer Series paper here. We'll just score this one, which is fine. We've got another one to score. So this one is Petunia Pop. Isn't this a lovely purpley kind of pink colour? Okay, so hopefully we can see that, and we're going to have our, I'm going to score the top and bottom at 1 inch. Okay, and then the way you want it sort of on your project. Okay, so if you're doing the bag, it'll run up and down. If you're doing the box, it runs side to side. So if you want to switch it around and do something different, you can rotate the paper around. So obviously if it's non-directional paper it doesn't matter, but you might want to think about that when you're constructing this. Okay, so I've started with all of mine with the top and bottom being in this orientation. Okay, so you get a baggie that runs up and down, a box that runs side to side. Okay, if you want it the other way around, just flip it around. And the other side is like this generic leafy thing, so that wouldn't matter which way around you did it. Okay, so 1 inch both ends of that. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 inch, 2.5, 3.5, and 5. Oops. Okay, and then you'll have this nice big thing here. So one of these is going to end up being a flap. You could cut off 1/2 inch just to make it a skinnier flap, but I figured why add another step if we don't need to. That was my thinking anyway. So let's just pop that down out the way, and we will fold and burnish the score lines. So I think we'll make this one into the box and this one into the bag. Okay, so for the one you're going to pop into a bag, I'm going to score this one that way so that the top forms nicely, but all the other score lines we're just going to fold in as they will appear on the project. Okay, nice sharp score lines that help it come together much more easily. Okay, so that's our top. I'm going to do the same with this one. All these are going to go in. So exactly the same score lines. The difference will be how we cut it. Okay. There we go. Right, so that's everything burnished. Okay. So let's do our the bag is a little bit more, I would say a little more fiddly. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom. So we need to trim away some bits and pieces here. Okay, so this hopefully you can it's very difficult to see score lines on camera. It doesn't seem to matter what paper you use really, but you've got a square down here that we're going to cut away completely, and then you can just take a little bit of a notch at that bottom bit. Okay, so that's going to become our flap, our glue flap. I'll try to collect bits and pieces, and then all these bottom flaps will need to free up so that we can glue it down afterwards. So what I do is I cut either side of the score line like this. There's like a little ridge when you score. Okay, and if you just cut either side of that, just carefully, that will free up your flaps or your tabs to pop those together, and then you can just remove these, snip them away, or just pull them. I find that just pinching them out usually works. Okay, so that should now come together like so. These are the bits that we can pop together. This seam we want towards the back. Okay, so this flap we want to glue last. I'm just going to use seal, and then the other flap that's loose there, the larger one, I'm going to put seal on the outside. Okay, you'll see why in a second. Okay, so as we're looking at it, the first tab, I've cut it this way with the tab on the seal on the left. First tab, glue on the outside. Second tab, glue on the inside. And then we're going to bring this together. So we're going to run some adhesive down this side here, and then you'll be able to bring it all together. Just watch that you don't accidentally press your glue down at the bottom. If you do, it should just peel away if you haven't pressed it too hard. Okay, so the seams at the back here. Okay, so that's the back, and I'm holding it with that at the back. So if you pull down this flap, which has got the sticky on, and then do the side flaps, and then this one, okay, those shorter tabs are going to be sandwiched between those larger ones, which means the bottom of your bag, if you could see it, isn't going to have any excess bits and pieces in it. Okay, and then you can just pinch that shut, and that other score line just helps help it keep a little bit of shape. Okay, or you can skip it. Okay, together, but it sort of stops there rather than running all the way down. You can push it down if you like, or you can keep it up there. Okay, now I'm going to use a 1/8 hole punch here to pop these in. Now this isn't something that's Stampin' Up sells anymore. They used to, which is a shame that they don't. But what we do have now, oh, it's a bit close to the edge. It's a bit hard to aim at where you need it to be. I'm using this because we're going through several pieces of cardstock, or DSP I should say. Oops, daisy. Didn't get my muscles into that one. I'm not the strongest of people either, I'm honest. So this isn't going to be super even. So you could probably... Ew, blimey, why isn't that one going through? The other ones went through fine. Oh, dearie me. Okay, this one doesn't want to go through for some reason. It's probably because it's the extra bit of paper in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a PS mat and just bodge that one through and get it started, and then hopefully I can get the rest of it through. Don't know why that one's been so stubborn. It was fine on the other side. Nope. Okay. I've got that's irritating because it was absolutely fine on the other ones. This tool's a little bit bigger. There we go. So the Take Your Pick tool has a nice pokey end on it, which can do this job. We also have this the Tag of Thanks set has 3 punches that come with it, and one of them is a 1/8 punch, but it was too thick to get into there, which is why I didn't use it, but it's going to be useful for our tags that we're going to be making. We've also got this one, which is more of a traditional sort of store tag thing, and then we've got this sort of ribbon slider thing. Okay, so that one's a bit close, so you know, take your time and do a better job than I did. Okay, and then we need the coordinating ribbon to go through there, so we want a nice long piece. So this is Summer Splash, and I'm going to use one of these needle threaders to help me pull this through. So I want this to come through to the front, so let's use this needle threader and pull this end through to the front like that. Pull this end through to the front. Like so. And then that will be ready to put our tag onto when we stamp that. So we'll do that when we're doing the other one. Okay. So that was the baggie. That's how you do that one. So this is going to be the lovely little box. So we essentially need all those tabs, but we need to put tabs on both of these ends here. So just like I did with the other one, we're going to zip up these score lines. She says zip. I'm not going to do zippy at all because I need to take my time with this. See, the other people who just sort of seem to just be able to chop away at these things and do it so quickly, but yes, so accurately. But this is something that I'd like to just take a little bit of time on, just to make sure that that's cut correctly. Okay, exactly the same on the other side. Just either side of those score lines. With the DSP, you can get away with this. If this was cardstock, I'd want to cut a little bit of a wedge out of these. I think with DSP you can get away with this. Personal preference though, if you feel like this won't do it for you, or you don't like the result, you can just notch them out. As well. And I've got this little thing to try and collect all these things so they don't end up all over the desk, and I've just dumped them on the desk. So the paper sort of sticks to this surface a little bit. There we go. Right, so we've got all of the tabs that are free now. So we're going to use these to kind of make a lid, so there's no side here. Okay, and then all of these will make the base. Okay, so you're kind of making two halves of a box, if you like. Okay, so again, for speed, we will just put some Stampin' Seal on all the smaller tabs. Okay, can be a bit more precise with it. And take a bit more time when you're doing these yourself. Okay, just want to sort of give you the concept really, and it was kind of cool that even for my non 3D brain, that so you want to just bring those tabs around and line that cut edge with that score line there to make it nice and flush. Okay, there we go. Okay, nice neat corner. So I just thought it was cool that with the same piece of paper and the same score lines, I could actually get two different projects. Okay, depending on what you want. And we'll just fold this one in, do exactly the same. So they overlap a little bit. So if you want to do the extra cut step, you could cut these down, these the smaller tabs here. They don't overlap as much. Okay, but I think it just gives it a little bit more stability. Okay, and then that comes round. So you see how it's like a pizza box style, and then there should be enough to keep it closed. Is that not cool? Okay, we don't have a small punch that we can put into here. I suppose. Oh, actually, no. See, heartfelt hexagon won't. None of the punches will fit in there. It's too small. But you could have done it before you assemble it. You could put a notch in there using a circle punch or the heartfelt hexagon or something like that. So before you stick this together, punch it, because this is getting in the way now. It won't get the punch round. Okay, but that's essentially the box. Okay, so now we've got the box to decorate and we've got the tags. So some coordinating cardstock and some white here. So this is the modern oval, this is the 1 3/4 inch punch. This is one of the dies from the countryside corners. So it's going to be that way around. So we need a circle for the box and we need a oval for the bag. Okay, so I've got stamps mounted here. Okay, and we will need our Summer Splash and Petunia Pop ink pads. Okay, so Summer Splash then. So I've just got some scrap here because I want to take off that first generation of ink. and make that kind of pale. Okay, I'm just going to wipe that off. And we'll do the same with Petunia Pop. Just have some interest in the background there. Okay, and we'll use this little splatter. This is full strength ink, kind of top and bottom, just to add some fun to that. Okay. And again, we'll full strength ink on this one. There's a little less room on this, so I'm just going to do it down the bottom. Okay. And then we've got the sentiment. So we've got this lovely thank you from that Tags of Thanks, or whatever it's called. Yeah, Tags of Thanks stamp set. Full strength ink over the top there. Okay. And then the Petunia Pop. Because of the font and the shapes that we've got, if that's not quite straight, it's going to be fine. Right, ink pads away before there's a mishap. And I don't know whether you noticed, but I did almost drop that then, right on top of where I was working, so that would have been a bit of a calamity. Okay, just got some residual ink, so I'm just going to just wipe the surface quickly. Love these towels. You get loads of them for not a lot of money, and you can use them and use them and use them. Really, really good. Really, really good. Okay, right, so let's have things in front of me, otherwise I'll forget. So we'll do that one second. Let's do the bag first. So for the baggie, we've already got the ribbon that's through there. So we're going to bring in that 1/8 of an inch hole punch, and I'm going to basically line it up so that the punch mechanism is going to be lining up with the shoulders of this, but also going to look, so that's roughly where those shoulders are. I'm looking for the mechanism of that punch to be roughly in the centre. Okay, so definitely more of an eyeballing there. But if you are needing to, please measure it and mark it, or whatever you need to do. But you know, if you feel like you need to have it exact. So again, a bit of seal, and we're going to position that lower down on that that die cut, something like straight, hopefully, like so. And we can use our needle threader again to pull that ribbon through. Oh, no, it's right. For a minute I thought I'd done it backwards with the seam on the front. Okay, now for when I was tying this, because there's nothing in there, the box is a little light, so I used a block, one of my e-blocks here, to weigh down the box or the bag or whatever, to then help me tie my bow. Okay. So we'll just get that done, and then this one will be finished. Like so, and then you can obviously tidy up your bow as you want to, or not, as the case may be. So play with that and then cut it down to whatever size tails you want. But that looks cute like that. Okay, there we go. So we've got 3 of those sort of bag star boxes there. Okay, really cute. Okay, and now we're going to make this one up. So for this one we're going to use that ribbon slider punch instead, so this one. And again I'm going to line it up as best I can with the shoulders of that that die cut, and looking to get it as central as I can. Same with this one. And this is much easier to slide everything through. You want a good length of ribbon to make sure you've got enough to sort of make sure it wraps round. So we're going to take this one from the back to the front. From the back to the front. Okay, and we've got plenty of room either side there. You can tack this down into the centre. Like so. Okay, now I opted to actually secure this to the front, or say to the top of the box, I should say. Okay, but what you don't want to do is cover your ribbon up, because that's going to help you untie it and open it up. So I just used some seal to position that on the top. Oops. Just trying to make sure it's level rather than so you might want to open it up and make sure it's stuck, because you're pressing down onto some air there. So press that down. Okay, and then you can wrap this round, and that, because the ribbon hasn't been glued down, you've still got wriggle room to get that round and tied. Okay, so again we'll use our extra pair of hands, which is an acrylic block, and we'll just get that tied. Into something like a bow. Again, you can just move those loops around. Oops, she says. Okay. Until you've got it where you need it. Okay, and then we'll obviously need to make that more even. So we'll cut that one a little bit. Okay, and that's the pizza star box. Okay, so there we go, 2 of those, 3 of them. So if you've got 12 by 12 paper, you can get 4 6 by 6s out of that, score it up and make 2 baggies and 2 boxes, or whatever you want. But either way, the formula works, and you can actually get these ideas out of them. And so they're a nice size. Okay, so what's the 1.5 by an inch? So a few nice little bits and pieces could fit in there. Didn't have anything in particular in mind. I just wanted to try and play with what I had, really. Okay, so I hope that's been enjoyable for you to watch. Okay, thanks ever so much for all your support, of course. Please do have a look online. This week it's going to be an interesting week, because we find out a bit more about what might be staying and retiring and stuff. So keep an eye out on social media for things all about that. But in the meantime, I hope you stay safe. Do take care. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.